are not alone in your own body. Right now, living inside your digestive tract are approximately 38 trillion microbial cells. For every one human cell you possess, there is roughly one bacterial cell. If you were to weigh them all, they'd come to about 1.5 kilograms, the same weight as your brain. But the truly staggering number is genetic. The human genome contains about 20,000 genes. The collective genome of your microbiome, it's estimated to be between 2 and 20 million genes. Genetically speaking, you are less than 1% human. This vast living ecosystem inside you is not just a passive passenger digesting your food, it's an active chemical factory. Many of the exact same chemicals your brain uses to regulate mood and thought are being pumped out by these microbes. For instance, specific strains of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium produce GABA, the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter that calms nervous activity. Think of it as your brain's natural brake pedal. Meanwhile, certain species of Bacillus and Serratia can synthesize dopamine, the molecule tied to motivation and reward. And over 90% of your body's serotonin, the famous mood-stabilizing molecule, is produced not in your brain, but in your gut, with its production heavily influenced by your resident bacteria. But how does a chemical produced in your intestines send a message to your brain? The primary channel is the vagus nerve. This is less like a simple wire and more like a massive bidirectional fiber optic cable running directly from your brainstem to your colon. It acts as an information superhighway. Crucially, about 80% of the nerve fibers are afferent, meaning they send signals from the gut to the brain, not the other way around. In studies, mice whose vagus nerve has been severed, a procedure called a vagotomy, do not show the same behavioral and mood changes from probiotics that other mice do. The phone line was cut. Direct nerve stimulation isn't the only pathway. The lining of your gut is a tightly controlled barrier, only one cell thick. When this barrier becomes more permeable, a condition sometimes called leaky gut, things that should stay inside can get out. Fragments of bacteria, like lipopolysaccharides or LPS, can slip into your bloodstream. Your immune system correctly identifies LPS as a sign of a bacterial invader and mounts a massive inflammatory response. This systemic, low-grade inflammation can cross the blood-brain barrier and is now strongly linked in research to the brain fog, fatigue, and anhedonia characteristic of clinical depression. Consider the amino acid tryptophan, which you get from food. It's the essential precursor to serotonin. Your body can't make it, so your supply is finite. Inside your gut, a biochemical tug-of-war begins. Certain beneficial bacteria help your gut cells convert tryptophan into serotonin, boosting your mood. However, other bacteria, often associated with inflammation, push tryptophan down a different path. They convert it into something called kynurenine, which can travel to the brain and be metabolized into quinolinic acid, a known neurotoxin that can promote anxiety and depression. Your mood may depend on which microbial team wins the daily battle for tryptophan. The influence can be startlingly direct. In a now famous series of experiments, scientists performed fecal microbiota transplants on mice. They took the gut microbes from timid, anxious mice and transferred them to bold, adventurous mice. The result? The bold mice became anxious. The reverse was also true. This raises a question about your own cravings. When you feel an overwhelming urge for a sugary donut, is that you wanting it? Or is it a population of sugar-loving microbes in your gut sending signals up the vagus nerve, essentially demanding the fuel they need to thrive and making you feel agitated until you comply? This entire field has given rise to a new class of treatments called psychobiotics, living organisms that, when ingested, produce a health benefit in patients suffering from psychiatric illness. Instead of altering brain chemistry with a pill, future therapies might involve a carefully curated cocktail of bacteria. But this introduces a profound philosophical problem. If your emotional state, your social behaviors, your food cravings, and even your baseline personality can be significantly altered by the microscopic life living inside you, then where does their influence end and the autonomous you begin? When you have a gut feeling, who is really doing the feeling?
Monotony has grown fast. Nearly 2,700 people have watched in the last few weeks, yet less than 0.03% are subscribed. It would mean a lot if you joined by hitting subscribe. And again, thanks for watching.